They tumble off buses every day here, mostly women and children fleeing Russian occupation in southern Ukraine. Exhausted and still wary, because it's a long, tense trip from a life where even a text message supporting Ukraine can get you arrested. It's hard, Sasha tells me. The Russians are everywhere in Kherson, wherever you turn. When Russian forces invaded Kherson, big crowds came out in protest. They chanted at heavily armed troops to go home. And then the Russians hit back. But the resistance didn't die. It moved underground. We arranged to meet some of that shadow army. They asked us not to reveal where or who they are.
Ruch Oporu, the resistance movement is huge. It's total resistance.
This man told me how the partisans operate behind enemy lines.
Едет колонна. So look here, someone's driving. They know there's a military base that the occupiers have taken over. So they drive by and film it all. That way we know what kind of kit the Russians have.
The information is then passed on to Ukraine's military. Another team flies drones across the front line, hunting down more targets. They're civilians, not soldiers. But they joined the fight to stop the occupation of Kherson becoming permanent. Resistance is dangerous, though. Denis Mironov was caught gathering intelligence and weapons for the partisans. He was beaten so badly, he died in custody. His mother has evidence Denis was tortured by Russia's FSB security service.
But
they simply beat him to death. They tied him to a door, wrapped tape around his head, and they beat my son so badly that his ribs were broken by the first blow. They pierced his lungs. He couldn't move. He couldn't lie down or even stand.
I asked the FSB how Denis died. They didn't respond. But it looks like the fight back for Kherson has begun. Ukraine says it's destroying Russian ammunition depots, hitting key bridges to disrupt their supply lines. Weapons from the West are starting to make a difference here. And so, this fighter tells me, is the resistance. He had to flee Kherson to escape arrest for his own activity behind the lines. But he tells me the Russians have very little real support there.
Of course, the Russians have scared people, physically and psychologically. But the vast majority want life to be like it was before the invasion. They are waiting for Kherson to be freed, to be in Ukraine again.
And if that battle does begin in earnest, the partisans say they're ready to step out of the shadows.